Good morning, everybody. It's Jim Feist and Hank Goldberg from Las Vegas, roasting in the desert, but our picks are just as hot. Hank, you have to talk about what you did in the on horses yesterday and this weekend.
Well, in the Monmouth card yesterday was a bunch of favorites, but I picked the order of finish exactly in the Haskell. 1, 2, 3, and 4 is the Magic Horse 1 for Chad Brown, and the Wayne Lucas horse ran second, and the horse that I told you that it was the late entry from the New Orleans Saints ownership, they ran third. But it wasn't, as I said, you couldn't get rich playing it. But if you played the pick six, you could have, if you played it for a regular price, it would pay $1,400, and we hit that. It was a very formful card, and then we also had to hit the exact in the Jim Dandy for $37 at Saratoga. So it was a good day for our horse players.
Awesome. Baseball is. There's a lot of trades going on. A lot of players are moving from place to place. What do you see that's worked out positively, or you think will, going forward, and things that will not?
Well, for some reason, Houston is not winning lately. Texas had a rare weekend against them. People are looking forward to the Yankees and Red Sox this weekend, but the Yankees are kind of banged up. But the Red Sox is the one team that keeps winning, but it doesn't. The Red Sox are pretty much in control of that division right now, and Cleveland is in pretty good shape in their division. So the American League is pretty well settled right now, and I don't know if Seattle can make a race of it or not. And in the National League, you got good race between Philadelphia and Atlanta, and the Cubs are playing pretty well right now. St. Louis's managerial change didn't change any. They still make errors. And Dodgers, Arizona, and Colorado. Boy, Colorado's playing good ball right now.
They sure are. You didn't mention Oakland, but they've been red hot for a little while now. And doing very well. Making a push. Colorado's doing that pretty well. Pittsburgh has been rock and roll lately as well. There's some hot teams and there's some obvious cold teams as well. So the prices have been big. Yeah, last week we talked about some of these prices, and some of these 3 and 400 to 1 or 4 to 1 favorites have not won.
Yeah, Houston went into a little bit of a tailspin. That's the big surprise.
Yes, absolutely. Anything going on that you want to talk about for this coming week?
Well, football starts on Thursday, and I can tell you that Baltimore will not play any of the regulars. Flacco's not going to play. They're going to play, Jackson is going to play a half, and RG3 will play the second half, and they will not play any of the regulars at all, none. As far as Chicago is concerned, they need to get some work for their quarterback. He's been kind of getting used to a new offense with the new coaching staff, and so he needs work with it because he's struggled with it. He's been throwing a lot of pick sixes in camp so far, and I think they want to see a little bit of him, although they haven't said so yet. So you may see Chicago. Baltimore is a 1.5 point favorite right now. I don't trust that number. I don't play early preseason games, and Baltimore is 6-0 the last 2 years in their preseason openers. But he wants to look at a lot of his younger guys. And they're not going to play any of their starters on Thursday. None.
What does that mean for Lamar? If they're going to play him, he's a pretty dangerous player.
He's going to play quarterback for the first half.
Yeah, that's a that's a game changer because as a player with that type of mobility against non-starters on the other side defensively, he could be trouble.
Well, they're going to have two mobile quarterbacks going in both halves against a lot of inexperienced players. But Chicago will play some of their guys, I think, early. But on defense, not too many.
Right. Well, it's the opening. It's a these are meaningless games, but if you can get an edge with the line, the total, whatever, knowing what's going on for each side, then you can pick some winners. And it's a time for me is if you're a 5-unit better, you might want to bet 1 units in some of the preseason games. You don't want to get carried out.
Well, the total is 33, I believe, for this game.
Yeah, it's low.
And they're looking at the odds on some of these teams this year. Minnesota is 10-1. Of course, New England is 7-1. It might be a time to take a position against New England. They lost a few good players. They start off the season with a couple of key players who aren't going to be ready or suspended or whatever. But there are a lot of teams who are 20-1 and under. And the Saints. There's a lot of buzz about the Saints right now. Because of all the improvements they've made to their defense. They're 16-1, and I think they might be a nice play at that number. They've made some additions. They've got a lot of good receivers. They've got the good running game. They're going to be very balanced. They came close last year, but they've improved their pass rush, their secondary. They've got Allen is their defensive coordinator now. They've got a good special teams coach and a good special teams coordinator, the veteran from the Jets and the Dolphins who joined them as a consultant, Mike Westhoff, and he's in camp with them. Their special teams are going to be good. They're not fooling around, and they open up their season. I think with some easy games, they're going to get off to a good start. And they were better on the road last year. Look out for them. The Chargers are another team people are talking about. They're 20-1. They lost one of their cornerbacks, but he was hurt last year. So the two guys who played last year are going to be there. So that won't affect them that much. And of course, I've talked about the Giants before. They're 25-1, and they're much improved. So in a lot of areas, they're talking about North at Carolina. I don't know what difference he's going to make as the offensive coordinator, but they're 33-1. It's the Raiders need to get their best defensive player signed. He's not in yet, and the Jets haven't got their rookie quarterback signed yet, and they're going with the one guy from last year plus the guy they got from Minnesota. But the Jets aren't a factor, so they're 150-1. So and the Eagles, are they're going to be they're a decent price right now at 10. Well, they're 10-1 also.
Yeah, the Giants are getting a lot of talk and rumor up there that they're going to be pretty good. You got the Cleveland Browns. Their roster looks very tight this year. I like that a lot. They could pull some upsets. Pittsburgh and the Ravens and Cincinnati there, in that they could pick up a couple victories. That they're 1-31 the last several years, which there's nowhere to go but up. Of course, you talk about betting against the Patriots. The three teams in their division are so bad. The Patriots get a walk in the park just getting to the playoffs. So the question then becomes, who from the other divisions in the AFC can knock them off? Of course, everybody immediately talks about Pittsburgh. and because who they are and what they have on their roster. It's interesting. It's going to be a great year. We're all looking forward to it. Hank, anything else before we close?
Not really. It's it's going to be good to watch football Thursday, despite the fact that you're not going to see a bunch of regulars, but you'll hear the regular announcers. That'll be good. Baseball Hall of Fame weekend. That was nice, and it's a good time of year because the pennant races, while there's only a couple of them right now that look like they're going to be the real deal. I want to see the Yankees and Red Sox next weekend too. That's always fun.
Yeah, the Yankees are limping a little bit right now with a couple injuries, but they did add a couple pitchers that happened, Britain. So that's going to be interesting how they close out the season without some of the the players that they've lost. Should be great. Hank's picks are at jimfeist.com, and my picks are at jimfeist.com. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for listening in, as you always do. Hank, thank you for your time.
All right, Jim. Now's the time to look at football overs and unders. Maybe we'll talk that this week.
We'll do that on Wednesday. Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.